And once we've got our local storage in place, now we're going to return to our cart content and start setting up our return. Now I'll close all the files and I'm going to navigate to the cart, or I'm sorry, not cart columns, cart content, even though cart columns is going to be one of the components that we will display in the cart content component. And we're not going to look for any props in here, but I would want to invoke the use cart context, and I would want to get the cart as well as clear cart function. And that is coming from my use cart context. As far as the return, we're going to go with a wrapper, and then let me remove this sucker. And I'll add some global classes here as well. So class name, section, and then section hyphen center for my styling. And then inside of the wrapper, let's set up our cart columns component, which of course is not going to have any meaningful return, but for the time being, we should see the cart columns. Then there's going to be a cart, and don't worry, we'll work on the actual cart item in the next video, I believe, or maybe in 2 videos. In the next one, I guess we'll set up the cart columns, but I would still want to iterate over my cart, over my 2 items, I believe. And then for every item that I have in a cart, I would want to return a cart item. And then the key will be equal to my item ID. And then, of course, I'll pass in my item. Again, at the moment, I should just see the text of cart item and cart item because I have 2 items in the cart. Then, after that, I'm going to set up my horizontal line. And then we're going to go with the div with the class of link container. And inside of it, we're going to set up 2 links. And eventually, there's going to be also cart totals. So what we're setting up right now is, of course, the cart columns, then the items eventually. And now we're working on these 2 buttons. So now I'm setting up these 2 buttons, and eventually there's also going to be a cart totals component. So within the link container, I'm going to go with a link back to the product. So that's why we go with React Router component link. And then we're navigating back to the products. I'll add a class name here of link-btn. And then inside of the link, let's just say continue and shopping. Okay, awesome. We should see the link. There it is. Continue shopping. And then the second thing will be a button to clear the cart. So button. Let's add a type here, I guess, of button. And let's add a class name. We're going to go with link-btn and clear-btn. And once we click, of course, we'll invoke clear the cart. There's nothing in the function, but eventually, of course, we'll set up the functionality. So we might as well set up the on click right now. So clear cart once we click the button. And I'll say clear, shopping, and cart. Let's save. Should see both buttons right now. And then right outside of this div, but still within the wrapper, I would want to showcase my cart totals. So that's going to be the component that we'll set up last. That should do it for the cart content component. And then one by one, of course, we'll deal with the components that we render in our return.